Now we'll go over to the highest paid man in the NBA, and Mike Conley re-signing for $153 million for 5 years with the Memphis Grizzlies, and they also gave another max contract to Chandler Parsons, 4 years and $94 million. What do you think about the Grizzlies?
See, that surprised me because I had the Grizzlies in the shithole. I absolutely didn't expect them to come back.
Same here.
This, to me, the whole thing about the Grizzlies was, okay, if they lose Conley, they don't get any big free agents, they're a team, like we talked playoff teams maybe
They were gonna fall out?
They were a team where it's like, I don't care if Paul Gasol comes back to play with his brother, they were going to fall out. Now I look at it and go, well, shit, maybe the Mavericks are the one to fall out. Maybe the Mavericks and the Rockets, and then you could put in maybe the Jazz and the T-Wolves, because we all know how high we are on the T-Wolves on this podcast. But yeah, they're a team that made these two moves to say, let's just keep in the playoffs next year.
No, Dallas, I definitely agree, because I mean, Dirk hasn't signed back yet, but I mean,
do we really think he's going to leave though?
No, it's kind of like the D-Wade thing, but with Dirk, it's more of Dirk's 38. I don't think Dirk's going to be able to carry them to the playoffs again. Rick Carlisle is a great coach, but there's not a lot of help there. They have not been able to bring anyone in. Memphis, that was a team that was banged up. They lost Dave Yeager as their head coach. Parsons, if he can stay healthy, he's a good scorer.
So Parsons plus a Gasol
plus Zebo plus Conley.
That team could be good to watch
if they could stay healthy.
I mean, the big
Gasol
problem
wasn't
is,
healthy. Zebo's getting up there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the one thing that Memphis always did in the playoffs to make series interesting was they had mismatches across the board as far as their size and weight. So, like, even if you put them up against, like the Warriors, you would get an interesting series when healthy. Again, I want to just asterisk that shit. Where they could take advantage of players because of that setup. There's no way you could go Gasol and Zebo and, like, what are you going to do against that? Nothing. So I think it's a step in the right direction for Memphis, but I don't see how they're going to break through to the top 3 of the West at that point.
I don't think that makes them a top 3.
No,
I mean,
they're just not going to get there with this roster.
I don't even know how it breaks them in to the top 5 because, I mean, the top 3 we're not even going to look at because the Warrior, Thunder, and Spurs, they're not moving. But
they're locked.
Even the Clippers and the Trailblazers, I don't know how you – basically this move, it's sad to say, you make these moves and it only moves you up possibly one spot in the playoff seasons.
Well, I could say
from 7 to 6.
I mean, if this team stays healthy, I mean, I think earlier in the season before they got injured, I think they were around that 4 or 5 spot. I think,
they were doing actually pretty good.
And the Blazers kind of over succeeded. I think they'll still be a playoff team.
No one expected CJ to come out this big. This was huge.
Yeah, I think obviously they overachieved, and I think they'll still be a playoff team. But I think I could definitely see them falling. I could see Memphis moving back up, but does this make Memphis a championship contender?
No, and that's the question: is what
in the tough West? No,
where they drop these big contracts this year.
Is that their name now? The Tough West.
The Tough West.
It's the Tough West. I mean, you've got
the Wild West.
You're not even gonna get past it's the Warriors, Spurs, and Thunder, and if the Clippers get Durant, maybe.
I like the fact that we talk about the wall for the East is just LeBron James. It's like, why don't you go sit on a stoop and read a book for 4 more years while LeBron James waits out his career. And in the West, you've got 3 teams now. Yeah. So, I mean, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to sit on their hands for a couple of years? I honestly think that Memphis should have pulled the trigger and done a rebuild, start this year. Go get young talent, but it's not there. So you got to look at next year. Okay, now there's going to be even more free agents. If the cap's going to be even higher, you don't have as much money. You won't be able to sign 2 max contracts. Yeah. You may not even be able to sign 1 depending on how things turn out. I don't know. I don't like the move, but it makes Memphis an interesting team that has potential to do an upset in the playoffs.
It's going to keep them in the playoffs. Yeah, that's what it's going to do.
Yeah, well done, Memphis.
And
well done.
I mean, with Memphis, I'm not a huge fan of Parsons. I mean, I don't like him as a player. He's not. He never really. He's a fun person.
Oh, come on. You tell me you didn't like watching Parsons in Houston?
No.
Those were the good old days.
Parsons in Houston.
I don't know.
Those were the good old days.
If he could stay healthy, then he'll be good. But
this is a team that, and the only one out of the top 3 teams that we talked about in the West, Warriors, Spurs, Thunder, the only one as of right now that I could see maybe upset worthy. The Spurs.
I would say, are the Spurs still a top 3 team?
Timmy D said, hey, you know what, I'm going to accept this, but Sean, I don't know if I'm coming back yet.
I like Sean, no hesitation. Yeah.
You're going to doubt Pop?
No, but here's the thing.
I don't know. I kind of want to.
The Grizzlies have upset
no guards.
the Spurs before in the playoffs. They could maybe do it again.
You have no guards. You got old man Duncan out there.
Or the Thunder.
DeJounte Murray.
Okay, look, I love DeJounte Murray as much as any other person in this room does.
Kawhi came out of fucking nowhere. DeJounte Murray can do that. This is the goddamn Spurs here.
I know.
This is the Spurs.
But without Timmy D, if he don't come back, man.
That's like questioning LeBron.
But the old man guards, come on.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like,
Did you just say questioning Murray is like questioning LeBron?
Questioning the Spurs.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that entirely.
Questioning.
I would question this aging Spurs team before I would question LeBron.
Aging Spurs team. Their two best players are Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Now I'm talking about the vets that they kind of have in limbo right now. That's what I'm talking
Danny
about.
Green's still going to be there. Patty Mills is still going to be there. I know. Tony Parker's getting older. He's only 34, but he's still he's a good vet. He could still run the offense.
But what I'm saying is Tim Duncan and Ginobili kind of in limbo right now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying by aging vets.
Duncan wasn't even doing that much for this team. I mean, he was still good defensively, but
still a presence.
On an offensive side, he wasn't
still
doing that much.
Yeah, I think we expect a little more out of him.
With the Grizzlies, though, I don't see this team. Maybe I could see it. Maybe I could see an upset happening with the Spurs, but I would still take the Spurs over.
That's a conversation way down the line.
Yep. That is.